Commemorating Veterans Day this November 11th, history and tributes are coming up on CNN Student News. I'm Carl Azus. First up, a major data breach, but not like the ones we've told you about before at retail stores or in the cloud in databases. Hackers try to get personal information anywhere it's stored digitally. That includes systems of the U.S. government. Officials say the U.S. Postal Service was hacked. Information on almost 3 million customers, people who use the Postal Service, was compromised. Names, addresses, phone numbers, email records. That's in addition to birth dates and payroll records for 750,000 Postal Service workers. The USPS is paying to help protect their credit. The FBI is investigating. Mail service wasn't affected. But one lawmaker says the frequency and sophistication of cyber attacks highlights a need for better cybersecurity. Police, the media, and the government are keeping a close eye on Ferguson, Missouri. This is a town of just over 21,000 people, and it's been on edge since August 9th. That's when a white police officer named Darren Wilson shot and killed an African-American 18-year-old named Michael Brown. Brown was unarmed. Some witnesses say he was trying to surrender to the officer when he was shot. Police say Brown attacked the officer and reached for his gun before he was shot. Massive protests, some peaceful, some violent, followed the shooting. Most demonstrators want a grand jury to charge Officer Wilson with a crime. But a CNN legal analyst said recent leaks about the case have supported the police's side of the story. The grand jury's decision could come this month. People there are preparing.
Ferguson is on edge. Some business owners are busy fortifying their shops.
It's hurtful. It is really, really hurtful.
Salon owner Constance Garnett says she can't afford to take a chance that unrest will crash head-on into the business she built here for the past 11 years.
If they should come and loot our area, then it's going to cost us.
Protests haven't stopped for 3 months on her street. So we asked one of the police's most confrontational protesters about those concerns.
Now, as far as what's happened within the last 90 days, people will know that if you have been paying attention, there hasn't been any looting, no violence, whatnot. We've been keeping it completely peaceful.
These killer cops.
Nevertheless, plenty of folks worry that may change if the grand jury announcement goes against what protesters want, the indictment of Officer Darren Wilson for the killing of unarmed teenager Michael Brown. At a gun shop near Ferguson, the manager says sales of firearms for personal protection are up about 50%.
Every time that door opens, we're seeing new faces every day. Dozens of new faces coming in.
Do you think that's because of what's happened in Ferguson?
I think it is. I think people in general, because it's spread beyond Ferguson now.
The mayor of Ferguson says he's heard all about it too.
The plus side of that is that, every one of them I spoke to have went out and taken a training class, have went out and tried to learn the law.
But not everyone is convinced there's going to be chaos. At the Ferguson Burger Bar and More, which opened just a day before Brown was killed, no boards, unlike most of his neighbors.
I'm here, I'm open, I'm not going anywhere.
The U.S. Secretary of Veterans Affairs says major changes are ahead for his department, its biggest reorganization since it was established in 1930. A scandal at the VA began to unfold late last year. That's when it was revealed that U.S. veterans were having to wait, sometimes for months, to get medical care. Nationwide, more than 100,000 veterans were affected. Some died waiting for treatment. Robert McDonald took over the department 3 months ago. He says the VA plans to hire 28,000 medical workers to staff its hospitals and clinics, and that thousands of its current employees have been disciplined. But only one senior leader has been fired, and critics say Secretary McDonald is not moving fast enough to fix Veterans Affairs. Some U.S. veterans are still on waiting lists for treatment. 5 key facts in honor of Veterans Day. First, it's not to be confused with Memorial Day. That's in May, remembering men and women who died while serving their country. Veterans Day is for anyone living or dead who's ever served in the U.S. Armed Forces. Second, it originally started as Armistice Day. On November 11, 1918, the armistice that ended World War I went into effect. Ceremonies honoring its veterans started a year later. Third, it's symbolized by poppies. These flowers are often associated with the First World War and its battlefields. Poppies are worn to remember veterans and raise money to support them. Fourth, Armistice Day officially became Veterans Day in 1954. That was after World War II and the Korean War. American officials wanted to honor people who'd served in any conflict. Fifth, the holiday is also marked in Australia, Britain, Canada, and France. It's also known as Remembrance Day, and it's celebrated on Remembrance Sunday in Britain. Roll call! Love saying that. We're kicking things off today in the capital of Idaho. The Grizzlies are there. Can you bear it? River Glen Junior High School is in Boise. Ludlow's a city in northern Kentucky, and at Ludlow High School, we've got the Panthers watching today. And one state south in the city of Troy, Tennessee, say hello to the Rebels of Obion County Central High School. Okay, drones. You've seen video from them on our show. They're being used in warfare. They're being used in space. We've talked about them potentially delivering packages. What about rescuing people who are having heart attacks? Could that idea one day get off the ground?
One day, a drone might just save your life. When you or someone you love is having a medical emergency, every second that passes is precious, especially when it comes to heart attacks.
I think you had a heart attack.
According to the CDC, brain death begins just 4 to 6 minutes after cardiac arrest. And here in the US, only 8% of people who suffer a heart attack outside the hospital survive. That's where 23-year-old Alex Lamont steps in. The Delft University of Technology graduate student is trying to use drones to cut response time in those crucial moments. For his final project, he developed a sort of ambulance drone that he says can fly a defibrillator up to 4.6 square miles in under a minute. That's a lot faster than the average ambulance response time here in New York City, which is 9.5 minutes. The drone is equipped with cameras to observe and assess the patient. It also has voice communication to direct those on the scene on how to treat the victim in those critical moments before medical personnel arrive on the scene. Now, I was suspicious of the caller's ability to properly diagnose the patient. They may be a good Samaritan, but most don't boast a medical degree. What if it isn't a heart attack? How can they really tell? Apparently, the defibrillator is equipped with sensors that can determine whether the patient is actually in need of a shock. The drones are expected to cost at least $15,000, and Mamont estimates that his technology could help increase the rate of survival by 60 to 80%. He hopes that someday, these little lifesavers will be stationed at cell phone towers around a city. For now, though, countries have to figure out if or how they'll allow drones to be used in public, and Mamont is figuring out how to increase battery life on the drone, as the current version only lasts 10 to 15 minutes.
Homecoming. Some of the best moments we see in news involve U.S. servicemen and women being reunited with their loved ones. It's even better when it's a surprise. So we're wrapping up today's show and Veterans Day coverage with homecomings.
Please make welcome back home, First Lieutenant.
Who has just returned from Afghanistan.